Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sport lineup advice for the NBA and the NFL. Got a brand new video for you guys. We're going to discuss today's 8-game slate in the association. But before I get started, like always, guys, I appreciate you drop a like. Greatly appreciate it. It helps out my channel. And if you're new to the channel and you have not as of yet become a part of the DFS Zone community here, the only thing you have to do is click on that red button, the subscribe button down below. Right next to it on the right-hand side, that bell icon, turn that on. This way you don't miss out on any of my NBA or NFL lineup advice videos. With that being said, today is Tuesday, October the 30th, the day before Halloween. We have an 8-game slate in the association, and I'm going to try to give you the best possible plays real quickly here at point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. I normally give you a stud 5 and a value 5. I'm going to do everything I can to give you a little bit of both. I'm pressed for time today, so I definitely had to just look over these players and the stats real quickly, and I'm just going to try to get a video out to you guys because I'm really pressed for time. I got to get some stuff. I got to get done before I go back to work. All right, at point guard today, definitely I'm going to come right down. I'm going to stick with Kemba Walker, guys. This is the third time I've given you guys Kemba Walker. He has not let me down yet this year. He's definitely in a great matchup again. He already has played this team. Kemba Walker is 9,000 here on Fanduel. You need about 45 from him here. At 8, he's only 8,300 on DK. So either one of the sites, I am in favor of him on either one of the platforms. 42 you need for him on DK, and 45 you need here on Fanduel. But as you can see, he's been averaging 45 or better twice over the last 2 games, 45 and 60. He already put up a 53 spot against Miami in this the last meeting right here, as you can see. So I definitely love the whole idea of him going up against Miami. Again, let's go over here to the cruncher real quick. Point guard and Mr. Kemba Walker going up against the 15th team defending guards, point guards this year in Miami. Like I said, 60 and 45, and look, the number 85 and 8,700. His price has gone up by about $300 to $500 over the course of the last game or so. But he's still pretty good for it, man. He's going to take massive shots. Look at the usage rate in the last 2 games, 36% and 47%, 31 shots from the floor and 15 from 3, and he got to the foul line. He was just totally so aggressive. He's been unbelievable, and on top of that, he still is able to do other things. He rebounds, he assists, and of course, he time to time has those occasional games where he gets a couple blocks and steals, and he has done that here. He did that in the last game. He's not he's not someone who's going to commit a lot of fouls, so he's definitely going to be on the court quite a bit. He is the main offense for Charlotte, no doubt about it, man. So Kemba Walker is in play for me today. I think he's definitely in a good spot here. He already, like I said, put up 53 against his team. And his shooting percentage is really good. He's going up 55% from the floor and 52% from 3 with a 35 fantasy point per game thus far at home. And he's usually a pretty good home player throughout his career so far since he's been with Charlotte. So I really like the whole idea. Miami has given up 38.6 fantasy points per game to point guards this year. They did give up 53 to Kemba, 55 to Wall, and 58 to Lillard. And again, I see him still massively getting 50 or better here today. I think he's just a solid play. Next, I do like one more guy. It's not much of I didn't really look down here to see any value, but I could just touch upon 1 or 2 guys. Obviously, Rozier to me is someone that stands out. Definitely like Mr. Sexton might be someone to consider. Remember, at the end, like I've been doing as of late, in the comment section down below, before the slate begins, like a half hour before lock, more than likely an hour before lock, anytime I get any news, if I have decided on any possible solid value plays or any solid plays in general, like core plays, I will share that with you down there below. So definitely come back and take a look at the video again later in the evening, 1 hour or a half hour before lock, because obviously there's injuries. Certain things can just can just change the whole idea, the whole, my whole outlook as far as whom I may be on later on. But right now, these are the guys that I like. So remember, make sure you check the video description, comment section below, probably about a half hour or hour before lock. I like commenting down there below and interacting with my audience and letting you know what I think is going to be happening. But so again, Kemba Walker. The next guy I really like, I like Trey Young here today. He's 7,100. It's not a value play. When I don't have anybody here right now. By later on, I will definitely have someone for you guys. But Trey Young, 7,100. You pretty much need 35 here, and he's 7,200 on DK. So that's about the same, pretty much about 35. He already has played Cleveland, as you can see here. He put a 56 spot against them. 37 minutes, 35 points, nearly 1 point per minute, 2 rebounds, 11 assists, had a massive game. His numbers have not looked that pretty since that game, only 25, 23, and 27. But again, they're playing against Cleveland. I kind of like the whole matchup going up against Cleveland again. Cleveland is 17th in defending point guards thus far this year. This kid already has shown that he has a 50-point upside. His home and away splits have been pretty good on the road. He's actually better on the road than he has been at home. So he is away, which is a bonus here. 45% shooting from the floor, 39% from three, and he's averaging about close to 24 fantasy points per game. We want him to get 35 today. I think he'll be in a good situation to do that here. Cleveland has been giving up 34 fantasy points per game to guards, to shooting guards, point guards so far this year. So he's in an excellent spot, and he already has scored 56 against them. So I love that. Let's move on. Trey Young, let's go to shooting guard. At shooting guard, first guy I'm going to talk about is C.J. McCollum. Good spot against Houston. Houston without no Harden. Obviously, somebody's going to have to guard McCollum. McCollum, 19.3 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 2 assists, 28 fantasy points per game, 6,600. You pretty much need 33 for him on DK. He's 6,400. You need 32. So 32 to 33 for him is not a bad number. This guy definitely has the upside, can get you 40. He hasn't done that quite yet this year. He is due. He is definitely due. That's for certain. His home away splits, shooting better away, 45% field goal percentage and 40% from three. And as compared to at home, he's shooting 35% and 36% from three. But he is averaging 30 fantasy points on the road. And you're going up against Houston, who's giving up 118 points per game and 26.3 fantasy points per game to shooting guards. But they did give up to 2 of their best guards that have faced them. Alfred Payton put up 39, and Donovan Mitchell put up 51 against these guys. So I think McCollum is in a good spot here going up against Houston with no James Harden. So McCollum is in play. Another guy I do like is Ken Bazemore. He let me down the last time I played him. I did mention him, I think, 2 games ago, right here in the Chicago game, and he had a complete dud, 77.9, worst game of the year for him. Did put 33 against Philly the other day, so I like Mr. Bazemore here as well. He put up 39 against Cleveland the first time they played each other, so they're facing each other a second time. He did 32 minutes, 23, 5, 4, 1 and 1. Had 2 turnovers, 39 fantasy points. He's coming in 16.3 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, averaging nearly 31 fantasy points per game at 6,300. You pretty much need 32. It's right there in his wheelhouse. On DK, his price is even better, 5,700. I definitely will like him and lock him up there. He's going to be someone I'm going to have a lot of exposure to today because of the matchup. 5,700 on DK, you only need 27. That's below his average, and he's been putting up 33 or better over the course of 3 games out of the last 4. So I really like those numbers going in. Cleveland has given up 118.5 points per game to the opposition, and shooting guards are scoring at a 35.8 fantasy point per game clip. Oladipo put up 35.8. Bazemore put up 39, which I already mentioned. Jimmy Butler put up 62, and Danny Green put up 29 against these guys. And Mr. Bazemore is a little bit better player than Danny Green. So I like the matchup. I think he's in an excellent position to put up 35, maybe even 40 in this ball game. Those are the 2 guys I'm looking at there. When I go to small forward, I'm trying to move around quickly so I can get out of here. Kawhi Leonard, definitely in play for me. I love Kawhi Leonard. This is a matchup that is good for him. I don't see him getting less than 45, 50. He did put a 51 and 53 in his last 2 games. He's putting up 26.6 points per game, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 45.5 fantasy points per game, pretty much 46. 9,800, you need about 48. It's a big number, but he is definitely a good enough player to get it done in this matchup. 9,500 on DK, you need about 46, 47 over there. Again, I think that the matchup is just excellent. He's going up against, right now at the moment at home, he's shooting 50% from the floor, 46% from 3, and putting up 46 fantasy points per game. All his games have been at home, and he's and he's gonna get to play at home again. So go figure. I mean, he has not played a road game yet. He was resting yesterday, so he's well rested. Obviously, Toronto's coming in. Both teams are coming in on the front end of a back-to-back, but Kawhi Leonard had some rest, so I really like the matchup here. Well rested, ready to go and battle up against Philadelphia. Philadelphia has come in 111.3 points per game given up to the opposition. Only 26.3 fantasy points per game against small forwards, but in the 7 games, only 3 solid small forwards they had to face. Middleton put up 36. Mr. Gordon, Aaron put up 47, and Jason Tatum put up 40. And Kawhi Leonard is a top dog here. I mean, he's one of the best players in this league, defensively and offensively. I expect him to put up 50 or better today. I love Kawhi Leonard here at 9,800. Next is, you can't pass up Carmelo Anthony due to the situation with Harden being out. So Anthony is someone that I'm going to have some exposure to. He'll be in a lot of my lineups today. He has played well. Harden has been out. He's going to probably be out to the end of the week. So he's going to get at least another 2 games or so where he's going to actually put up a lot of minutes, and he's going to have to put up shots. And he's been fantastic. 14.2 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, under 1 assist, pretty much 1 assist a game, 25.6 fantasy points per game. He's coming in at 6,700. You pretty much need about 36 from him there. And on DK, he is very nice. 5,300 on DK. You only need 27 there. And as you can see, 34 to 38 minutes over the course of the last 2 games, pretty much averaging 23 points from the floor. And on fantasy points, about 37 spot if you break this down here. So he's averaging 37, is well above his average. I love to see numbers go up like this. And he's going to have a lot of exposure today. He's going to have him and Chris Paul going to have to get busy, as well as Clint Capella and Mr. Eric Gordon. But Carmelo Anthony's going to get a lot of exposure today. I think he is definitely a fine play going up against Portland. 113.2 points per game given up to the opposition thus far this year. 35.6, a whopping 35.6 fantasy points per game given up to power forwards. They gave up 45 to Markieff Morris, 46 to LeBron James, 35 to LaMarcus Aldridge, and 34 to Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk scored 34 points. So I see Melo having no problem here at all, being able to put up at least 35 to maybe even 40 points here today. So Carmelo Anthony's in play. Obviously, later on, I will give you in the comment section, like I said, I will give you a couple other possible plays. At power forward, first guy I'm going to talk about is Tobias Harris. 7,800. You need about 38, which is a definitely fair number that he can get. He's averaging 37, so you need 38 here. On DK, he's the same price, 7,800, so you need 38. Overall, he's averaging pretty much 22 points per game, 9 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 36.6 fantasy points per game. Let's round that off to about 37 fantasy points per game. He did have a 48 spot against this team earlier in the year. He played OKC, put up 48 in 37 minutes, more than 1 fantasy point per minute. 26 floor points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. Did have 3 big turnovers, but 48, and he's averaging 37. He has not looked good in the last 2 games, only averaging about 30 fantasy points, but his minutes have been down. But his minutes will be up here again. He's in a favorable matchup. OKC, 111.6 points per game given up to the opposition, 39.5 fantasy points per game, nearly 40 points per game. They gave up 47 to Harris, 48 to Durant, 48 to Iman Shumpert, and 34 to Jason Tatum. So if Shumpert could put up 40, I don't see no reason why he cannot put up 40. I definitely could see Tobias Harris putting up 40 or better here today. When it comes down to the bottom end here, there's a couple of guys. If this concussion here, Markieff Morris, I would have liked here a lot. I do like his brother Marcus Morris here today as possible value play in the power forward. There is some good value plays in the power forward position today. Saric could be someone that you can consider against Toronto. Ibaka in that same matchup. Aminu. But I'm definitely focusing on Ibaka. I like the best, the Morris brothers, or Marvin Williams, and maybe even Pascal Siakam. I think those guys are some of the guys I'm going to have exposure to as far as mix and matching them up there in the power forward position with Mr. Tobias Harris. All right, let's go over to center. At center, this guy's been hot as hell. I know he played. He's in the front end of a back-to-back. He did play these guys already as well. He didn't do as well the first time around, but Mr. Whiteside, love the way he's been playing as of late. He's been just a total beast, especially blocking shots. Look at this. 3 or more in 3 straight games, 3, 6, and 5. He is playing some serious defense up front. So, I mean, 26 Pretty much he's averaging 12.5 points, 16 rebounds a game, 40.7 fantasy points. That's 41 spot. 8,200. You need pretty much just 41. He is 7,400 on DK. That's only 37. Definitely is a fine play on DK. We go over to the cruncher real quick just to crunch him up a little bit more. Going up against the 20th ranked defense against centers right now in Charlotte. And you're going to see the green here, 46, 40, and 59. Usage rate 24% in the last game, 33, pretty much almost a 34% usage rate 2 games back. Shots are there, 10 to as much as 15 per game, and you know he's going to get rebounds. And the bottom line is with him, he's going to block shots. He's going to try to get some steals. He's a pretty decent defender, as long as he doesn't get into foul trouble. When he gets into foul trouble, he loses minutes. He only played 29 in the last game. Nonetheless, he still only had 3 fouls in that game, but he gets himself into early foul trouble, and usually he loses out on some minutes on the floor. If he could avoid that, he'll be on the floor for 30 to 35 minutes, and I expect him to put up some decent numbers here against this team. Going up against Charlotte, 109 points per game to opposition, which is the top 10 as far as defenses in the league. 29.9 fantasy points per game to centers, pretty much a 30 fantasy points per 2 centers. They gave up 49 to Embiid, 34 obviously to Whiteside in their first meeting. Vukovic put up 37. Those are the only 3 top centers they have played in 5 or 6 games. I think Whiteside's in a good spot. Now, granted, he did play 29 minutes last night. He's coming in here on a front end of a back-to-back. Both teams are. I still think Whiteside's not a bad deal here at all for us today. So Whiteside's definitely, I do like Mr. Marc Gasol here at 7,700. But I'm going to go down and give you a little value. I'm going to go with Tristan Thompson at 4,300. You need pretty much 20, 21 or so here for Tristan. You need 21 here. He's Tristan Thompson, yeah, 22 you need here. He's 4,500 on DK, so you need about 23. As you can see, 7 points, 8.7 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 20.2 fantasy points per game, 4,300. Last few games, 20 minutes to as much as 23 minutes. The last time he played Atlanta, he played 27 minutes, put up 11 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 steal. Only had 1 turnover. He doesn't turn over the ball a whole lot so far this year, which is great. 31 fantasy points was his best game of the year. I expect him here. You only need 22. I think he can get you 25, 26 and meet value. And he has the capability of getting you 30. And that's what we like. You know, Atlanta, 113.7 points per game to the opposition, giving up 31.7, pretty much 32 fantasy points per game to centers thus far this year. They gave up 36 to DeAndre Jordan, 28 to Mr. Thompson in the previous meeting, and 39 to Mr. Cantor of the New York Knicks. And those are the only 3 centers that have done any damage, but the only ones that are decent enough centers. So I can see Tristan Thompson still in a good situation here to do very well for Cleveland. Now, granted, Atlanta may have, Dwayne Detson and Alex Lynn. I just think that he is capable of getting things done against these guys. I don't see that being a factor at all. But that's basically it, guys. That's basically it. And like I said, anything that comes from here to the end of the day, I will comment down below. Again, man, drop a like on the video, man. I hope it helps you guys out. I know it's a little rushed. I hate to be rushing. I like to give more detail and obviously more statistics. That is going to come now because now we're going into about 7 games into the season. Like I said, when we get to about 7 to 10 games, then I could be able to look more at field goal percentages and so on, which I'm already incorporating. But, right now, let's just try to get those games in, get some more stats in here for at least the new year. And then this way we don't have to worry too much about what's going on from last year and what's been going on as of late. But again, drop a like on the video. I appreciate it. Again, if you're new to the channel and you have not subscribed as of yet and not joined the DFS Zone community as of yet, the only thing you have to do is subscribe, put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any of the videos. And that's basically it, man. I'll see you guys on the next video.